Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 27 of my favorite 31 hard rock and metal albums of the 80s. That's right, we are counting down each and every day. Here in May 2023, I have somehow picked out my 31 favorite albums from that decade. Those hard and heavy albums, hard rock and metal. A Herculean task. This easily, out of all these kind of list things that I've done here on the channel over the years, this was probably the toughest one ever. Because, you know, the 80s were one of the great decades for hard rock and metal. And, you know, my overall list, well over 250, 300 total albums, right, that I really like a lot, to love a lot. So what's really painful is that there's lots of albums that I truly love, but you can only squeeze 31 into the list, right? So a lot are just kind of getting left aside, and you know what? That's okay. The 31 kind of, I guess you can call them the cream of the crop, right? Kind of have risen to the top. Still, it's painful to leave out some of their brothers and sisters who didn't quite make the list, but that's okay. So today we're going to take a look at an album that was released on June 14th, 1980. Produced by Martin Birch. It's the first time this band worked with this particular famed producer. Recorded at Kingdom Sound Studios in Long Island, New York for Columbia Records. The seventh studio album from Blue Oyster Cult, Cultosaurus Erectus. That's right. You know, BOC had a couple of really strong albums in the 80s, right? This right at the start of the 80s. This, however, my favorite. And, of course, the classic lineup of the band, Eric Bloom on guitars, vocals, and a little bit of keyboards. Donald Buck Dharma Roser on lead guitar, lead vocals, other odds and ends in the studio. Alan Lanier, keyboards, additional guitar. The Bouchard brothers, Joe on bass and vocals, and Albert Bouchard on drums and vocals. Again, another one of those bands that, you know, you have a good chunk of the guys singing. Right, always add a lot of variety to the songs because you had all these different voices, although a couple of them sounded very similar, right? But everybody's writing. Okay, you got also help with some outside writers as well. They always used a lot of outside writers. And, yeah, just always brought a lot of different flavors to the BOC catalog because you had all these highly created individuals writing and singing and playing. Most of them all played multiple instruments and stuff, so really, really interesting stuff here. You also had guest appearance on this album by a certain Mr. Don Kirshner, right, who did a little bit of introductions on the Marshall Plan, great song. You also had Mark Rivera, who shows up, plays a very cool, kind of odd saxophone solo in Monsters, great songs. Anyway, let's talk about the album. So here, this was kind of a return to more hard and heavy rocking sound for the band, harken back to their earlier part of the you know, well, in the 70s, early mid 70s. The album that came out just a year or so before, Mirrors, really strong album too, little lighter, right? So here we're back there working with Martin Birch. This is more of a classic hard rock sound for Blue Oyster Cult. Kicks off with Black Blade. Absolutely terrific. Co-written by the great fantasy writer Michael Moorcock. Right, Michael Moorcock wrote a string of great books and stories. You know, the Elric saga, right? Great fantasy writer. If you love like Lord of the Rings and that sort of thing, Conan, right? It's kind of like a mix of the two. Black Blade, terrific song, a top song for Blue Oyster Cult. Absolutely. I remember when I first bought this. I remember this is the first BOC album I ever bought, so I bought this pretty much right after it came out. And I remember I always, as a kid, always loved dinosaurs and monsters and things. And I remember seeing this sitting there in Record World in Middletown, New York, in the racks, so, you know, the new release racks. And I was like, oh, wow, dinosaur, kind of cool, weird-looking dinosaur. I don't know what this is. Kind of space dinosaur. I'm buying this. You know, I've heard the name Blue Oyster Cult at the time, but was never went to consider buying any of their stuff prior to this. So this was my first BOC. And I remember putting Black Blade on. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Dun 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 dun. That's really cool. Love the guitar work. Love the vocals. Eric Bloom, very effective vocalist in this band. You know, both him and all of them actually. But you know, the two most recognizable voices were Buck and Eric, right? And they sang the lion's lion's share of the songs. But so that moves on to, we talked about Monsters before, another really cool song. That's another Eric Bloom vocal, really like that. You got the Divine Wind, kind of atmospheric and just kind of a little slightly creepy, right? I love the production on this album. That's sung by Eric as well. You got Deadline. Deadline's a really tasty melodic song. Nice guitar leads in there. Love the laid-back nature of it. It's rocking, but it's kind of laid back and just, I don't know, it's mysterious. And that's a Buck Dharma sung song. Then over on side 2 of the original vinyl, you got the Marshall Plan, like I mentioned before. Eric Bloom takes the lead vocals on that. Another strong track. Hungry Boys, that's fun. More of kind of quirky, almost punky rocker, right? Albert Bouchard sings that one. You got Fallen Angel. Joe Bouchard sings that one. Another great track. Lips in the Hills, terrific. One of the great songs on this album. Hard charging, hard rocker. Eric sings that one. And then you've got Unknown Tongue to finish it all off. Another really cool track that also is sung by Eric. So interestingly enough, on this album, only one song sung by Buck, right? Although on the next album he would be featured a little bit more, and on previous albums. So yeah, so this is more of an Eric Bloom sung album. You know, they all vary quite a bit, but like I mentioned, they're all writing. So yeah, good stuff. Really, really enjoy this album. And let's see, we got any charting information for you. So this one made it up to number 34, peak position on the Billboard charts, which pretty good for them. And I believe this album ultimately went gold. So yeah, another good strong seller for the band. They were at this point in time still headlining. Though they did during this tour, they also did the co-headlining tour with Black Sabbath called the Black and Blue Tour, right? Totally infamous tour, captured on video. Wish they would just, you know, Chris Allen and I have talked about that many times. I wish they would just release like the whole thing already. But yeah, the Black and Blue Tour, two classic bands touring together, and of course Black Sabbath hot on the heels of their brand new album Heaven and Hell with their brand new singer Ronnie James Dio, right? So I wish I was not quite going to shows yet. I started going to concerts the next year in 1981, so I just missed out on the Black and Blue Tour. I guarantee you, if I was a little bit older, I would have been probably at Madison Square Garden seeing that show for sure. But yeah, really good stuff. Fond memories of Blue Oyster Cult, Cultosaurus Erectus. It still holds up really, really well today. It's amazing when you look at this band, like how many really strong albums they have. And their music, very hard to classify because, yeah, it's hard rock. I don't know if I'd ever call BOC metal. There are metallic elements. There's certainly bits of psychedelia. There's certainly bits of pop in their music. There's at times a little bit of blues rock. Certainly some prog. I mean, they do like everything, right? They do it really, really well. So unique. One of the most unique bands on the planet, I've always thought. And it's still going strong today. You haven't heard The Symbol Remains by Blue Oyster Cult, which came out a couple years ago. They were a big comeback album. You know, first time releasing a studio album in many, many years. Absolutely awesome. Ranks high up there with some of their best. Really love it a lot. And they're still, like I said, you can go see them out on tour. They tour all the time. I've seen them numerous times in recent years, and they still bring it all the time. So, yeah, Cultosaurus Erectus is my pick, number 27. As we're counting down to number 1, which will be revealed on the 31st, of course. So come back, visit us every day here during this series. Let us know what you think of my pick today down in the comments below, as well as your pick for number 27. Down there in the comments, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts, and please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, we have the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page, where you can get all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff. And, yeah, so stay tuned tomorrow for more, but more importantly, Jesus, here we go. I tell you, they're in allergy season. It's really hard early in the morning to like speak and get the throat going, because it just hits me first thing in the morning crazy. And like I said yesterday, you guys are the first people I'm generally having conversations with in the morning, because I tape these really early. So yeah, you get this whole throaty thing. So anyway, coming up here in just a little bit on the channel, we've got Friday Morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. Of course, we're going to be talking about a little Southern fried metal, right? So we're going to be talking about Southern bands and bands not from the South who have that Southern rock sound, but maybe veer off into metallic avenues a little bit. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about this whole kind of Southern sound, right? Whether you're from the South or not, and whether how much of it can be considered metal or not, and is it Southern? Does it sound Southern? Does it not? So that's kind of what our topic is for today. And then tune in tonight. We've got 4 Fusion Friday happening this evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. We've got some cool picks we're going to be talking about. Some really good jazz fusion albums from Germany, right? So we're doing our first of our kind of geographic theme topics. So it's happening tonight. And then, of course, tomorrow we have the UK Connection, where we'll be ranking the songs on a classic album. That classic album is ZZ Top's Eliminator. And then Sunday, I will be ranking the albums of the Derek Trucks Band. Of course, the great guitar virtuoso Derek Trucks, who, of course, currently in the Tedeschi Trucks Band, spent many years with the Allman Brothers Band and many years fronting his own band, the Derek Trucks Band. So we'll be doing the Derek Trucks Band albums on Sunday. And then, of course, we kickstart the work week off with the Hudson Valley Squares on Monday. So till then, have a good Friday and a good weekend, everybody. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you soon here on the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.